Good evening, everyone. The meeting of the WSESD Special Board Meeting of April 10 will come to order. This meeting is a hybrid meeting, which means that some or all of the public bodies meeting remotely and some are meeting physically in a previously noticed location where the public may attend to observe, listen, and participate contemporaneously. Please note that while we will strive to provide means for those attending remotely to participate in the public comment period, there may be technical difficulties or reasons that otherwise prevent or interrupt remote public participation. Open meeting law ensures that, I just turned the page, the public's right to participate and comment. We will do our very best to keep everyone connected. If there are technical difficulties, please try and get in touch with someone in the space. We will try to reconnect. Nevertheless, this meeting will continue. All right, we are going to begin with public comment on non-agenda items. I don't see anyone online. I don't see any hands up. This is on non-agenda items.
I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
DEI, is that on the agenda or not?
It is, we are going to be discussing, I'm looking to see if it's on, well, we've got a letter to the, well, that's, yes, it is on the agenda. Yeah, it is, yes. Okay, public comment, non-agenda items. I don't see any hands up. Okay, we are going to then move to the letter that we have been considering having to do with Title VI compliance. And this is definitely the section having to do with diversity, equity, and inclusion. So we are looking at a letter that presents the school district's point of view having to do with the AOE request for compliance with Title VI as presented by federal administration. The SU last night, we voted to sign the letter that encourages Zoe Sanders and the Agency of Education not to comply with Title VI as presented by the federal government. So that's where we stand right now. Is there discussion? Okay, is there a motion to entertain signing the letter that I have sent to every board member? It is the letter that I just resent this evening, dated April 8.
So moved.
So moved. So
Second.
we have a second. Now we are open for discussion. So this is the point on the agenda when we are talking about diversity, equity, and inclusion. So, yes. If you would state your name and your town, please.
Sarah Cotoro, and I'm in Putney. And I guess just a question, a clarifying question. Has Zoe Saunders already signed?
No.
No, she hasn't.
No, she has not. No. Okay.
Thank you.
You are welcome. Yes. So, sir, if you, yes. Can you state your name and your town?
Yes, of course. Sorry. My name is Ahmad Esfahani. I live in Greenfield, Mass. and I'm the father of 2 children who attend school in Putney, Vermont.
Can I ask for a clarifying question about that? When you say they attend school in Putney, Vermont, and I'm asking because you are not a resident of these 4 towns, where in Putney, Vermont do they attend school?
The grammar school.
They attend at the grammar. I would suggest then that your concerns about this issue should be addressed to the administration at the grammar school. This particular district has nothing to do with the grammar school.
We were sent as a school community information about this. So I'm assuming that there was some relay of us, if we had any concerns, that we should.
Not from Putney Grammar. Putney Grammar is outside of the auspices of this district.
It's a private school.
It's a private school and has nothing to do with us.
Understood.
So whatever concerns you have, please take it up with that administration. Okay, you are very welcome.
Jody, get your hand up.
Jody Normando, please state your name and your town.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, Jody Normando from Dermiston. I just want to add that I hope that you do vote for this, because the way that the Secretary of Education and the Attorney General of Vermont are reading this, they're reading it as the law is the Title VI. Trump has put an extra wording in there that is not in the law of Title VI. So I would like to have them, when they send a letter, to make sure that the extra is not in there, because it's not clear to me, and it probably won't be clear to others, that if you vote to accept that Title VI, you're voting also to accept his additional executive letter. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jody, for pointing that out. That came up at Tuesday's school board meeting, and it also came up last night at the supervisory union meeting. And I think that needs to be stated again and again. This is not about Title VI as a federal statute. This is about the addendum that has been attached to it by the current administration. Thank you, Jody. Thank you. Any other discussion on this motion? Any other discussion? And that is,
Liz has her hand up.
I just saw a board member's hand. It's, okay. So Liz Adams, please state your name and your town.
Liz Adams from Putney. I said this last night at the SU meeting, and I want to say it again. I think we need to really encourage our Attorney General to join with New York and Massachusetts and Maine and the other states that are refusing to go along with words that Trump added that weren't approved by Congress. There's safety in numbers. And I really would like to see us go that way. I know that's not in this letter, but I think it's really food for thought. So yes, by all means, sign the letter. But I don't know. I just would like our board to voice to Charity Clark that we would like to see us join the other states in their refusal. I think California already refused. A bunch of them have. So anyway, thank you.
Thank you, Liz. Thank you. I certainly hope that state legislators are listening to these various meetings. Matt, did you have your hand up?
No.
No, you did not.
You made her do it. After
And Brian Reamer?
Yeah, thank you. I just want to confirm that I'm looking at the version of the letter that's most complete. And thinking about the demands that are listed at the end. So one is to rescind the compliance certification requirement. To affirm, number 2 is to affirm a commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion in Vermont schools. 3 is to establish consistent community contact through the AOE regarding Vermont's ongoing approach to the existing and future federal decrees that threaten this work and our students. The 4th is strengthen support for vulnerable students. And that's the extent of the demands of the letter.
Yes, yes, yes. There have been several versions out, and that was my my rapid fire, my last email to the board, even after promising not to send any more.
Yeah, and I thought those pieces at least are important to share more broadly.
Thank you very much.
Yes,
Thank you, much appreciated. Any other comment? Bethany,
Hi.
could you state your name and
Yeah.
your town, please?
Yes. I'm Bethany Ramquist. I do not live in the district, but I'm the proud mom of 2 kids who go to the UHS. I wrote a couple notes because I tend to be a little bit wordy, so bear with me. I just wanted to say, I know you're voting, and I was a couple minutes late because it's hard to get in here. We need signs of how to get here from the door downstairs, please. You're voting right now on the letter to Zoe Saunders, correct?
Yes.
Is there, just before I go into my stuff, is there also conversation about addressing anything towards Governor Scott as well? Or just voting on the letter for Zoe Saunders?
We're just voting on the letter this evening.
Okay,
That is.
just wanted to make sure that
there-
nothing else
there is-
showed up.
Well,
while I
there
was
are
at work.
other things on the agenda,
Yeah.
but nothing specific going
Okay.
to Governor
Okay.
Scott.
And Charity Clark
wait.
is also CC'd on that letter.
Say that again?
Charity Clark, our
Yes.
She's
Yep.
CC'd on the letter,
Yeah.
so that's the Attorney General.
Got it. I
Yes.
just want to make sure I was up to date with what was going on.
Right.
And new people too, so now they're caught up. So, and anybody on Zoom. I just wanted to say that I also know that I can't speak for anybody who's at other meetings, but I do know that there are at least 2 leadership council meetings happening right now. One at Academy, one at Dummerston.
Yes.
And a select board meeting happening right now about the budget in Brattleboro. So it's a busy, busy night. So you probably would have a lot more people here if they weren't engaged elsewhere. I know it was last minute, but I just want that noted, that there's a lot of people that I know wanted to be here and probably aren't because they're civically engaged elsewhere. So I have spent the last few days doing a lot of sign making and rallying at different schools and have seen a tremendous outpouring of support for our educators and our students by our educators, by our students, by our community, by parents, by like really just invested people. And the thing that I have heard across the board, first of all, I just want to say that like we have an outstanding group of teachers in this region. I've been in our schools as a side person for a dozen years, and I have not seen finer educators anywhere in my entire 30-year teaching career. I'm so impressed with the level of education that we have here, and I think that what's happening right now, what I'm seeing right now is disheartening for our educators, and it's scary for our educators and for our students that the beliefs that they so strongly move forward with their students with are at risk, and students are really scared, especially any student who would be considered marginalized by anything within DEIA, which at this point also seems to include not just gender identity, but actually half of the sex assigned at birth folks too. Like the word women suddenly might be part of that, and it's uncomfortable how many people are very, very scared of what's going on. Without going into like a fear mindset, I just want to name that like there has been a lot of support for our schools and our teachers and our students, and also a really big sense of fear among everybody. And I think it's really important to name that and to acknowledge that we still have people that are showing up to work every day and go to school. I have been really proud to stand at rallies with them, and I want to acknowledge, I know the copy that you have, I think, of the letter is newer, but the one that was on the agenda is actually outdated at this point.
Yeah.
Because it was asking Zoe Saunders, it was on the agenda, so it was the only one that I had access to.
Right.
But it was asking her not to make this districts like attest to it, and that's not an issue anymore. So I just want to make sure that whatever it is that you're voting for is the most current one that doesn't include that, because that one should be null and void now. I think I would really love whether signing this, I think, is super important, and I also would really love, and I know I can speak at least to what I have heard over the past 2 days of rallying, that I'm not the only community member who would really love for our school board and our superintendent, that the message is a very, very resounding, not just we value diversity, equity, and inclusion, but actually no, we're not going to stop doing this, we're not going to comply. We already did sign off as a state saying that we were in compliance in January, so no, we're not doing it again. Not just we value this, we're not going to change, but actually no, we're not going to do this again. And we're not going to buy into that, because many of us can see the train coming down the track of how this will affect so much of, even in Vermont, how we go about educating people. So I would really love to hear that really clear no from our elected school board. I know I'm not alone in that. To Liz's point, there's actually a lot of states now that are saying no. Minnesota, California, Pennsylvania, Massachusetts, New York, New Jersey's considering it. There's Maine, there's like across the board, people are really questioning and saying no. And I had one more point, and now it's totally gone because I didn't get to writing it down. I did want to say thank you for having the special meeting so that we can talk about it. Yes. And I also, I think that I have not seen very many educators or parents or students who have not felt that they really want a very, very clear answer from our select board, our superintendent. So far the messaging has been positive, but I think that that's so important for them to go on. I know I'm getting to the end of my time, but I also just want to say that I have 2 high schoolers. Yesterday they were really torn. They were like, do we go rally to make sure that everybody stays equal in our classroom, or do I go to algebra and learn how to do the square root of a number, or how to find the area of a triangle? And like, our kids shouldn't have to worry about that. Our teachers shouldn't have to worry about how they teach. They should be able to just go teach and learn. So
Thanks.
I think that was all I have to say.
I think that is a very strong statement, Bethany. I hope you do realize the outpouring, the voices on this board, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, and now Thursday night. This is our 3rd meeting.
Yeah.
So we are taking a very strong stand. I would also like to reiterate the superintendent's statement, in which he said that we are going to continue to do the work that we are doing in this district. That is not going to stop. Mm-hmm. So I hope I'm paraphrasing you correctly.
For sure, and I shared this last night as well, but we are currently visiting every school in the district and speaking directly to every staff at staff meetings, sharing that sentiment. And it's been very well received. We've, myself and Michaela have visited 4 schools, and after the break, we'll wrap up with the other schools. But we're having face-to-face, one-on-one, in the room conversations about this, and sending the message that we've done great work. We're proud of the work. It's not done, and we're going to continue to do it.
And contrary to this is when I'm speaking at this point, I'm speaking as a board member. That's it. My voice only. Contrary to Governor Scott's statement, we are speaking with a very reasoned voice. This is not hysteria. This is not. We're very centered in this and very sure about our stance. So I want to say that. I see a couple of hands online. Mary Gannon, would you state your name and your town, please? Mm-hmm. Oh yes, I'm sorry. There, you are unmuted.
Well, she has been muted, so.
Oh.
I just said thank you all. Thank you all again. I appreciate that this is the 3rd evening that you have all been working hard and allowing us to come in and give public input. Mary Gannon, I live across the river in Winchester, New Hampshire, but most of you know that I'm pretty committed and dedicated to the community in lots of different ways. And I've also been someone who's been kind of on the daily right now, getting a lot of updates. So I thought maybe I could just bring a couple that have been generated today. I want to also thank the parent who spoke prior to me. I think her name is Bethany. It's such a
Yes.
statement. We need so much more of those parents with those kinds of opinions coming forward. So hats off to you. One piece folks should know, and maybe the board does know this, what I heard today and some of the meetings that I was involved with folks in Montpelier is that now the deadline for certification is April 24th. So interesting, because I think that on the one hand, that is for those of us that have been in the resistance movement here, we sort of want to see like some light at the end of the tunnel and have that date not so far out. But now that date is DOA is pushing that forward, which I think there's some particular action that they're doing politically around that. But I wanted to just put that in the conversation. The other thing I just want to say very quickly is, Deborah, thank you for bringing in what I would describe, since I was one of the people that has been part of this kind of coalescing group, and several of us feel pretty attacked, is the governor's press release, which was egregious, and some of the other comments that have come from that press release are equating the ways in which activists, school board members, community members, educators are responding. It's being described as parallel to some of the behaviors of the current administration. That did not come from the governor, but that came from other people who reside on that side of the aisle. So again, I think and I appreciate what Superintendent Spino is saying, we have been doing this. We will continue to do this. We will do this with our heads held high. We will not play dirty games and name call. But I was really disappointed. And the good news about this also, which I again want to remind folks who are, still trying to track the trajectory of all this, is we also have our Vermont school organizations who are saying an affirmative no to this, a very strong no. Superintendent's Association, VSBA, and the Principals Association. And they have been very clear from the beginning about the fact that recertification is, in fact, affirming this new redefining of civil rights laws, which is the Trump administration is doing, as Bethany so articulately stated. So we have some real strong support from what I would perceive as very strong agencies that are speaking out against the governor's current perspective and Saunders. So appreciate you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. Thank you. There is another hand up. George, would you identify yourself by full name and your town of residence?
Thank you, George Carville, Brattleboro. I appreciate all the work the board's been doing on this, and I have no doubt that you have copies in front of you about what you're going to vote on tonight. But for those of us on Zoom, would somebody, for the record, read the current draft of the letter?
It is, it's actually about 2 pages long, I think. And it's rather
actually
long.
like
Oh,
George, if you emailed one of us, we could send it to you by email. But it's a really long letter with a lot of signatures, including not ours.
Point of question.
Just wait 1 second, just wait. George, did you hear what Ann?
I'm trying to find chat. I'm looking for it.
The chat is disabled.
Oh, that's what, yeah,
Right. So you're going to have to email one of us. And if you email Ann Beekman,
A. Beekman. A. Beekman at wsesdvt.org.
Okay, I'll try to do that. Thank you.
okay, and it's Beekman. Thank you. Okay.
We put the new version in the minutes of the SU for last night as well. So online, if you go to the SU minutes from last night, you will find a link to the current letter.
And I thought this was coming from that. I
No.
thought this link.
No, it's still the old one.
It's still the old one, sorry. There have been so many versions out there. And it goes to the issue that everything is moving so rapidly at this point on so many fronts. And more than 2 fronts at this point. So,
And I'll
Matt
put,
Shibley.
I'll put a
Matt
link,
Shibley.
I'll put a link to the letter on the minutes for this meeting as well.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yep.
Thank you. Okay. All right. Any other comment? Bethany, did you have your hand? You're okay.
It was
Okay.
whether it was a different one from the agenda, but Anne answered that.
Great, thank you. Michelle Green, I see your hand up. Your name and your town, please.
I'm sorry, I have to unmute her while I'm trying to email George.
Oh, so
There you go.
there we go.
Am I unmuted?
Yes,
You're
you are.
fine now.
You're good.
Sorry.
Thanks, guys. Good evening, guys. I know it's 3 nights in a row for you guys. I'm coming into this meeting a little late, but 15 minutes late because the Demerson Leadership Council just met. So I'm sort of trying to hear what I heard Bethany speaking, and I don't want to say anything that doesn't need to be said. But if I missed discussion, it sounds like you guys are talking about signing your names to the organization letter. And what I think I'm hearing Bethany say sounds like something that actually our leadership council just took up as well. We just had a conversation about our own role in advocacy and wanting to be sure that we align with our state leadership or educational leaders. I will speak, have some of my own thoughts to say, but just representing the leadership council, we did collectively agree and advocate and ask that our school board takes a firm advocacy in this and make a statement. We think that it would be best if our school board made a clear statement of their recommendation and stance on the compliancy issue to their community and also to our agency of education and all applicable parties. Basically, we think that there's a lot of power in a board's voice as a collective group, as well as the SU board. And I know that it's a lot has been changing rapidly, as Mary was just talking about. But it does, I think the general consensus a lot of us are feeling is we understand that the governor is his stance is that, if he's referencing the legality that we are abiding by and ignoring the rhetoric that's attached to it. Ultimately, that rhetoric is hurting our children. We had a conversation, and this is me speaking a little bit more than I don't want to speak for the leadership council, but I just think about how we were so thoughtful and mindful about political flags and the influence it had on our children. And I think we need to be really aware of the rhetoric that the Department of Education, the Office of Civil Liberties, is attached to this certification, and is very clear. Both I have a copy, so I'm happy to forward to you guys of all the different statements from the Minnesota and all the different states that we are certified, and this is a request, and it's not necessary. And it would be very meaningful, I think, to the people in your community to feel affirmed and safer if our board took a clear stance on that. I know signing your name to this letter does that, but to take a step further and to actually, as a board, represent this topic to the Agency of Education and tell them what you would like to do. If nothing else, I do feel it's appropriate for the board to be, it's sort of outlandish that our Secretary of Education, that they wouldn't turn to the experts in our state leadership and align themselves. It doesn't make people feel safe or that they're looking in our best interests. So just wanted to share that was a conversation that the Demerson Leadership Council had. We formulated our own statement that we're going to be sharing with our community and public about our stance and our commitments. But I would just encourage you to develop this, your reaction, your response, not reaction, but I know in your hearts what your reaction is. So I'm just encouraging you as a board, though, as one voice representing us, to consider a better direct action plan and a direct response that you as a board can take outside of simply signing your name onto a large organization letter, but to represent us with your stamp of approval.
Thank you very much, Michelle. Thank you. I think the board, this is a motion. We are in discussion right now, and it is a pretty significant step that we are taking this evening, and that was taken last night. So, and this is not a one-off. This is an ongoing process. So we're gonna move through this systematically. I still see hands up. George, your hand is up.
Sorry, I just hadn't taken it down.
That's okay. I didn't want to overlook you. Jody Normando.
You should be able to unmute now, Jody.
Here, I'm muted. I just was looking at the letter on the WSSU site, and I see individual people's names on there. Are you allowing other people to sign on this?
Yeah, and individuals can sign. Absolutely. I think we can certainly send you the link, or
There's a link on the letter.
there is a link on the letter, Jody. So if you would like to sign as an individual, you certainly can.
Well, I'll look for it. I'm not the most educated on these computers and stuff. We didn't have them in my day. And if I don't find it, I will get in touch with somebody.
Well, get in touch with me. That's right.
Get in touch with you? Okay, I
Yes,
will.
absolutely.
Bye-bye.
Okay, yes. And any other board members? Okay. Mary, your hand is up.
Just very quickly, sorry, Deborah, because I know there's
Okay.
been some concern about the letter. The one that folks should be looking at would have the date of April 8th.
Yes.
Okay, correct. And folks can also reach out to me. There's been some issues around whether it's being shared and if people can get in to sign it or not. But individuals can, as long as you put your town or school district that you're affiliated with.
Okay, all right. If whatever difficulty I have or any of us have, I will be sure to bounce it to you for assistance with this. Okay.
And Mary, while we have you, I filled out the web form last night, but I haven't seen any changes in the signatory list. I also emailed Alyssa, so if you have any control over that, let me know.
Okay, because the SU signed on to this last night as an organization. Colleen Savage.
As board members, can we sign individually as well?
I did.
Okay.
I signed it as chair, as a matter of fact, and then I signed the SU board separately.
Okay.
Yes, okay. Mm-hmm. Matt Shibley.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion.
There's a
There
motion on
is
the
a
floor.
motion.
There's already on.
Yeah.
I didn't even get that.
Oh,
I'm so sorry. As the clerk,
so,
I should have
so
done
there
better.
is a motion and
Can we tell me who made the motion and what the motion was? Thank you.
And seconded.
Excellent.
yes,
And what was the motion again?
that we, go ahead.
We approved for the SD to sign on the letter.
Excellent.
Okay, good. All right. So any other discussion about this? Are we ready to bring this to a vote? I do see nods. I see nods. Yes. All right. All those in favor of the motion for the WSESD board to sign on to the letter in question? All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, that passes. Thank you very much. All right.
I'm going to assume that was Jocelyn we heard.
It was.
It was Jocelyn we heard. Yes.
Just making
that's
sure.
right.
Yes.
That's a yes.
Thanks,
yes.
Jocelyn.
Okay. The next item on the agenda has to do with the AOE's. I just want to, the AOE's Advisory Council. It's entitled Harassment, Hazing, Bullying, Prevention Advisory Council. And this is an issue that on Tuesday night, Curtis Reed raised. And Curtis, I do see you online here. Having to do with providing guidance statewide. Issues that affect every school district having to do with hazing, harassment, and bullying. Curtis, do you want to offer some comment about this?
Yes.
Would you state your name and your town, please?
Sure. Curtis Reed Jr., resident of Brattleboro.
Thank you. Please go ahead.
Great. I know that life is coming at us fast and furious, but I wanted to draw your attention to the fact that Act 129 that was passed in 2012 created this Hazing, Harassment, and Bullying Advisory Council to the Secretary of Education. Legislatively, there are 5 mandated organizations that are members of the council. Vermont Principals Association, Executive Director of the Vermont School Board Association, Vermont Superintendents Association, the President of Vermont NEA, and the Director of the Human Rights Commission, and the Director of the Vermont Independent Schools Association. Those institutions or their designees. And then finally, other members selected by the commissioner. At the time the legislation passed, we had commissioners and not secretaries. Now, given the racial composition of the institutional actors, 3 secretaries, Secretary Villaseca, Secretary Holcomb, and French, all appointed subject matter experts of color to be an equal member on that particular committee. When the new secretary came in, when Secretary Saunders came in and decided that she was going to reestablish the committee, it had been dormant for about a year during a transition from Dan French. She consciously decided not to reappoint or appoint any members of color on the commission, those that had the most contact and experience working with our students and families of colors across the state. Now, again, the purpose of this committee is to review and coordinate school and statewide activities relating to the prevention of and response to harassment, hazing, and bullying. The council shall report annually in January to the state board and the House and Senate committees on education. Unfortunately, and it was a conscious decision on the part of the secretary to not have anyone from our rapidly growing student body and families of color to appear on that committee, to be a part of that committee. And so my ask is that the district send a letter encouraging the secretary to make appointments that are representative of the student body. I mean, statewide, about 11% of our student body are students of color. And that fluctuates, up to 30-40% in some school districts in Chittenden County. And I don't know what our current, I think Windham County or Windham Southeast has about 11 or 12%. I'm not real sure off the top of my head. But anyway, we need to have full participation in that committee. And for full disclosure, I sat on that committee for over a decade. And I know how important it is to have advocates on behalf of students of color, LGBTQ plus, new Americans, to have representation at the table. Because it makes a big difference in terms of weighing in against the institutional powers, the educational institutions. So anyway, that's sort of the background.
Okay, thank you. I do notice, I did go online and I sent as much documentation as possible to board members. I do notice that there is a student who is part of this committee. And
that student is a white student.
okay, 8. I notice that there are 8 people on this committee. I am hesitant about assigning the word consciously to someone's action. I don't know whether Saunders did this consciously or not. But I do appreciate what you are saying. And I open this up to the board for discussion. So
Consciously is my word.
yes, I do realize that. I realize that, and I'm just sort of putting a little break on it as the board begins discussion about this. That's all.
And I used that word because I had approached her multiple times, and she said that she wasn't going to do it.
Okay. Is it possible for you, so that the board has as much information as possible about this, is it possible for you to send to me at the board website, the board address? It would be dstanford@wsesdvt.org. Could you send me your correspondence and the communication that you've gotten from Zoe Sanders? Would that?
Sure.
Okay. I'm D. Stanford at wsesdvt.org.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. And if that goes awry, you certainly have my other email address. So one way or another, send this to me, please. Okay. Discussion from the board at this point.
I don't know what we can do, but I'd like to state for the record that I agree with Mr. Reed. I can't imagine that they're having a committee on HHB without consulting people of color, without having people of color on that committee. And I'm pretty appalled, and I don't know if we can change it, but I would very much be in favor of trying to find out if we can.
Matt Shibley.
I do find Mr. Reed's encouragement for us to write a letter to be within our purview, and I certainly would support that, would it be the will of the board.
I think the letter will be much stronger if we can document Mr. Reed's communications as part of our response. Okay, so that's why I'm asking for that information. When I think about the numerous articles that have been written, student comment, parent comment having to do with hazing, harassment, bullying, occasionally the term racist behavior, that language comes up, and at times it feels as if there's an inclination to push it away, to make it disappear. So I really do appreciate what Curtis Reed is saying, and the need for a diversity of life experiences on a council like this. And from my perspective, it goes beyond this council and goes to every council that exists in this state. We want that diversity of opinion to exist. And that is not to say that diversity of opinion is not possible with an all white group, but let's just add to it and push it a little bit, okay? You wouldn't want an all male committee or an all only women on a committee. You want that mix of people. So let's do that. We certainly want to invite people to come to Vermont. We want to invite people to apply to be part of a school community or to be part of a school board or the select board. So let's really do that. Jody, I see your hand up.
I agree with Matt wholeheartedly. And I kind of disagree with a little bit that you said, Deborah, that I don't think you really need any evidence. I think all you really need is what you had said before, that you looked at the council and that you saw that there were no people of color or et cetera, of any kind of, other diversity. And you know that in the past there have been, and you would just encourage them to continue that practice.
Yes, absolutely. I look at names, I cannot make a determination about names. But yes, I certainly agree with you, Jody. Mary, I see your hand up.
Sorry, all. I feel like I'm spending so much time with you all. This is lovely. So again, this is deeply, HHB work is directly connected to the work of diversity, equity, and educational justice, in the state. And just for full transparency, Curtis Reed and I have been colleagues for many years, traveling the state, working with school districts, state agencies around how to integrate these ideas into workforce, school culture, et cetera. One thing that I'll say, that's very important. I was at the first reconvening of this meeting. So being there and seeing visibly who was on the screen, was quite shocking. I thought, well, gosh, I was surprised that they didn't have a better sense to make sure that there is some representation there. And there should be all kinds of representation because we want to make sure that the people who have been most impacted by HHB, whether it's in, particularly my venue is schools, is that those diverse voices are up front and are leading. The other problem, if the board chooses to correspond with Saunders about this, is that they've also changed the scheduling. Now, I don't know how often, but Curtis could correct me on this. Right now, they're saying 4 times a year.
Correct.
It's absolutely not enough time. It's absolutely unacceptable. They need to be meeting monthly or at least every 6 weeks. The level of cases that are rising to the top, to the Human Rights Commission, but also to other organizations that are supporting families, is at the highest level it's been in decades. And so the advisory council, my memory of this is that it was also a place where there was great conversation about what would be some model or best practices to bring into schools so that we could try and figure out ways of reducing the number of cases by improving school culture. My sense right now is that Saunders wants us to be a policy advisory council, to look at the model policy, revise it, and then be done with it. And that's unacceptable. So I just wanted to remind folks that there's some other pieces to it. I think it is powerful to have a school board, to have a school board write to Saunders and also to the person who's chairing that committee right now and make a statement about it, because what happens there could have either a detrimental or a positive effect on what is happening in school districts. And we know that school districts need all the support they can get. Thanks.
In terms of the documentation that I have, Rebecca McBroom is the chair.
Correct.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. Okay. I think there is strong sentiment in terms of the voices that I've heard on the board to pursue this. So,
Deborah, I have a question.
Yes, Jocelyn Fritz.
Sorry, I can't raise my hand on here. Do we know if there's any other minority representation on the board or on the council?
No, there's not.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. So I would really appreciate getting some documentation from you, Curtis, about this, and we'll take it further. Okay, we'll take it up at a subsequent meeting.
Okay, very much.
Thank you very much, Curtis, for bringing this up. Brian Reamer.
I think this is implied, but the implication is also that there's not representation from other groups who would be the recipients of hazing and bullying as well.
Such as?
LGBTQIA.
Yeah, I am, right, I don't know, right. But I feel as if the message is, there is a lack of representation across the board in terms of diverse voices.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I might add that Outright Vermont also had a seat at the table.
Who did? I'm sorry, can you say it one more time?
Outright Vermont.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yes, Matt Shibley.
Yeah, I would be willing to help draft this letter, do some of this legwork for the board,
Yes,
for the board to review at the next meeting, should that be the will of the board.
it is, well, I see nods. Yes, it is the will of the board. Thank you very much. I was about to say it is the will of the board, and I thought, oops, let me look around the room a little bit here. Okay. Yes, thank you. Okay, thank you.
I
Kim Price.
I pulled up because the name stuck out.
Yes.
Big Hartman, and it does look like they are a member of the LGBTQI community. So.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Okay. And
Just for
yeah,
transparency, as we were talking about
right.
numbers.
Okay. I nevertheless, I do think that this is indicative of the state passing on a really important opportunity for communication and for trickle down. I did pull up and I sent it to everyone the schedule of meetings having to do with this advisory council, and I was not impressed with what's embedded in those in that account. Okay, we will. I will make sure that this is on the agenda for the next meeting, which is April 22nd, the SD meeting. Okay.
You have another hand.
Jane Gado. Goodell. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
Hi, yeah, you've got, it's Guidel, yeah.
Goodell. Thank you. Thank you.
So.
Can you state your name and your town, please?
I'm Jane Guidel and I live in Brattleboro. I have kids who go to school at Brattleboro and Dummerston, and I teach at Academy School. So thank you. This is really eye-opening, all of this about this hazing harassment council. And sorry, I'm walking my dogs also, so you may hear that sound. And I just I wonder if there's like how does she choose? Do they have to write a letter? Did people apply? Did she just pick them out of thin air? Is there a process? Does anybody know?
I have no idea. And
yes, they're mandated by it's mandated in the legislation.
Yeah.
So like, does she just gets to decide whoever she wants? Is that
she has that option.
Act 129 of 2012 clearly states 6 individuals who must be on this committee, and Curtis Reed read those 6. And then it states other members selected by the commissioner, and that's all it says in the legislation. Other members selected, I don't know how many, and it offers no guidelines about how that selection takes place. So.
Okay, yeah, thanks. I wonder if that's a mistake, and I wonder if that's something that could be in the board's letter. Like, I don't make policies or anything, but it seems like the mistake is that she can just pick whoever she wants and say that they're the most qualified, and we have no idea what their history is or why they were chosen.
Yeah, yeah. And again, this is in legislation. So that's how it reads at this point. Thank you very much for that comment. It's a valid point. All right. Bethany, would you state your name? And
yes, it's not related to this topic though. Is that okay? It's not related to that what you guys are talking about, the harassment. Is that okay? Are we moving on from that?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. It's actually just 3 things. Bethany Randquist. Don't live in the area. I live in Winchester, but I have 2 fantastic students at BUHS and lifelong Vermonter. One, I wanted to signal boost what Michelle Green said about the board putting out a statement of their own, not just signing the letter. So perhaps if you're writing statements, that could be something you think about for the next meeting to bring. 2, wanted to also just voice appreciation because I've noticed an increase in allowing public voice at board meetings over the past year or so. And so I just wanted, which has been a change since previous iterations of the board, and I just wanted to voice that I'm appreciative that I feel like members of the public have time to talk and that you all are willing to sit and hear it. Also, actually, I guess it's 4 things. A third, I really appreciate that we are continuing to offer a Zoom option because I know that for the majority of parents, that's the easiest way for people to be engaged and have a chance to have a voice. So I hope that continues, and I appreciate that it has. And then 4th, I'm going to jet out of here because tonight at 7 o'clock and tomorrow night at 7 o'clock, the BUHS players are presenting Clue, which is their spring play, and it's going to be fantastic. $10 for general admission. All BUHS and BAM students get 1 ticket for free. So on the idea that we have some pretty fantastic things happening among our students, I highly, highly encourage that people, if you have this evening or tomorrow night especially free, that you go and fill the auditorium to support our students because it's going to be pretty phenomenal, and it's just a way to celebrate that our kids are here and doing awesome things.
Yes,
right, wonderful things.
Wonderful,
So
awesome
since we're talking about our
things.
schools, I figured I will just throw that out there for anyone who's
I thank you very much. Just as a point of information, and the fact that the meetings are Zoomed, that's by statute as well. So, and I think whether it's by statute or not, we, as a board, feel very strongly about that community outreach. So thank you very much. Thanks, Bethany. Thanks. Okay. enjoy the play. Okay. We have marching orders as a board. Next item on the agenda is the press release concerning the Rural School Community Alliance. And we received this, all of us as board members. As a district, we are a member of the Rural School Community Alliance, and we have made a donation in support of their efforts, a lobbyist, to address the far-reaching proposed reforms of Governor Scott in reorganizing Vermont's education system. There is a lot going through both the House and the Senate, having to do with Vermont's House and Senate, just to be very clear. Just what our state will look like in terms of rural schools, organization, and this is also obviously tied to taxation. I don't know that taxation is really being addressed straightforwardly. Rather, it's as if reorganizing school districts statewide will address taxation. It doesn't feel like it's going in the right direction. A lot going on multiple fronts. We have before us a press release, and it's pretty straightforward. It is picking information out of the RSC, the Rural School Community Alliance's promotional material. So, board comment about this.
Terrific job, Jessica.
We really like it. Yes, we do.
Yes, thank you, Jessica.
Yes. And Jessica is not online right now, so she could not be here this evening, but we really do like it. Discussion about this. Kim Price.
I move we approve it and distribute it.
Second.
Okay, we've got another second. Yes, okay.
And a huge thank you to Jessica.
Yeah, really.
With many thanks to Jessica. And discussion. Okay, discussion. All right. Okay. So let's bring it to a vote. All those in favor of releasing this press release having to do with the RSCA as written. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, this passes. Thank you. The last thing on the agenda, if I can find my agenda, is other business. And I put that on at the last minute just in case there is something floating out there that we want to address. Matt Chibley.
I'd like to just say thank you to the public, to the administration, teachers for coming forward in this ever-changing, fast-paced world where there are so many different things we could be focusing on. Yeah, I feel it really takes a community to collectively address these issues. So I appreciate everyone that's holding us together and knowing that as our chair on many occasions has said, we're in this together. So thank you for everybody that's bringing information and supporting the good work that we're doing.
Hear, hear.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Liz Adams has her hand up.
Yes, Liz Adams from Putney. I certainly back the Rural Schools Community Alliance. There is another concerning piece in that legislation, and that is that they want all supervisory unions to have 4,000 students. And I think that, that isn't a main focus for the Rural Schools Community Alliance, but I think we better start thinking about pushing back on that. I think Mark is busy all the time. It won't save any money, because if let's say you combine Windham Northeast and Windham Southeast, you get rid of one superintendent, but then you need to hire an assistant superintendent because the superintendent won't have time, and you're still going to need all the office staff from both places. So I think that's something I would like our board to think about, and to think about pushing back on, because it won't, for one, it won't save money, and for two, it just further removes the voice of all of our towns, whether it's Windham Northeast or Windham Southeast. And from what I know, our two school districts are vastly different. But that 4,000 number is concerning. And I realize that's not the main focus of the rural schools. But I just wanted to point that out and ask everybody to think about it.
Yeah.
And I applaud Matt's I applaud Matt's statement,
Thank you, Liz. I know that there are a number of potential compromises floating at this point, and it feels chaotic, and maybe sometimes chaos is a good thing. Let's see what emerges, what we can push that emerges from that chaos. So, is there any other issue before us at this point? I do want to thank everybody. It's been a long week. It feels longer than a week given the energy of the end of last week and what we've been dealing with. Thank you very much. Thank you. We need the support, and we're here to do our very best on behalf of this district, and we will continue to do that. Thank you. Okay.
Madam Chair.
Question?
Oh, yes, of course, Jocelyn. Yes.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Are we going to put on the agenda a statement to our stance for DEI? I know it was brought up earlier.
Yes, in terms of making a statement that goes beyond the motion where we've affixed the SD.
Right, where we're gonna sign the letter.
Yes, I do have that down. Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
Yep, that's where we're going. All right.
Madam Chair, there being no further business before this board, I move that we adjourn.
Seconded.
Okay, thank you. Discussion? All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Any abstentions? Thank you very much. We are adjourned at 7:08. Thank you very much.